loss. But on the other hand, if you would like to support your center, like in French, okay, then you don't play e6, so you're not stuck with a stupid French bishop. You want to get out first.
Yeah.
Okay, bishop f5. Most of players play move knight f3 here. In this recent St. Louis rapid tournament, Garry Kasparov versus Navarra played move knight c3.
Yeah.
And Kasparov had a winning position, which he later ruined and even managed to lose it. His game went something like this: g6, e6, g4, knight e2, I think c5, bishop e3, and here the main move is knight c6, but Navarra played move knight e7, and Kasparov had interesting reaction. He played move f5, knight c6, and he played f4, takes, and g5. And then this knight jumped to f4, and this bishop
It's very bad
got
piece.
stuck. Yes, this is somehow which happened in the game.
Look, Wesley looks so stylish.
He looks so stylish.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
But VAllejo has played a very stylish move. He has played g4 immediately, which is definitely a sideline.
And so it's very sharp.
Yes, I have never analyzed actually g4 at this moment. Because, for example, there is move h4, which was a favorite move of Mikhail Tal. He played it even in a match versus Botvinnik. And of course there is g4 connected to move first knight c3. But g4 at once, there is even here a move knight e2. They have tried everything. But g4 at once, no, I have never analyzed this move. It is for sure going to come to, even to fantastically prepared player like Wesley, so it is going to come as a surprise. Because this is really not played by any kind of main players. I guess that he's considering two normal decisions. First of all, principal decision whether he wants to go back, which people often do. And then he would like to challenge this pawn maybe, or he would like to play move e6 and then to basically play like a French. This is probably what he's considering. Second thing which he might be considering is to play move bishop e4.
Yes, and
then
g6.
Go back and then try to somehow compare this to knight c3 variation.
Yeah.
And to understand who tricked who in this business. I think this is what he's here considering. Because I cannot imagine that VAllejo wants, I don't know, maybe he wants move like knight f3.
But this is very
And then to play move knight c3. Or knight d2 to remove bishop.
But here black can play h5.
h5? Okay, now let's say knight c3.
H takes g4.
H takes. Takes.
And now g takes.
She takes knight. And okay, I don't want to lose a pawn. And I would like to take queen f3, almost threatening mate in one, because as we established, this is normally good. I think that Wesley is considering all these variations. It is not easy when you see position for the first time, even for a very experienced player to understand, let's say after a move like bishop g6, I mean, who tricked who. Maybe VAllejo wants to play what I was showing, this Kasparov kind of play, because Garry played this. So maybe he wants to do the same thing on bishop g6, but maybe with knight e2. Because then when you push c5, I'm often able to play maybe c3 to support this pawn chain. It is very interesting. We are seeing actually on a very top level game starting virtually as early as move 4. Obviously, VAllejo has done some more homework than Wesley saw, because might as well be that Wesley saw never analyzes this kind of position. But okay, we're gonna see. It looks very promising. It looks quite promising. We will see how Wesley is going to react. Both moves are possible, because look, for example, in this variation which I was mentioning, let's say such a variation. Well, common reaction to a move like h4 is h5. This is what is played a lot. And okay, then you can get some very complicated game.
Yeah.
So here what do we have? Also h6 can be played. So what we have here, let's try to figure it out, because if he wants to play h6, you have, for example, such a variation, h4, h6. g4, bishop goes back.
Yeah, but in
Here
that position, bishop is on g6.
Yeah, here we have this situation, which is maybe an idea of VAllejo.
He goes to h5.
So now, in the case of h6 variation, he would indeed be in a tempo. Because he wants to send his bishop to h7, so h5. Okay, now compare this variation with knight on e2. We need to understand a bit what does VAllejo want. It is a completely new position. In a way, one logical idea looks to me to play move knight e2 to try to jump to f4. Let's see how is this position. Let's say knight e2. You take, I assume.
Yes.
And let's say knight f4. How is this position? I would like to grab a bishop and ruin the pawn structure. And okay, in the case of bishop e4, then I can probably take. Bishop attacks rook, maybe some move like this. Push. No, maybe push. And I want knight c3. To disturb this bishop, something like this. This is very original position which I never saw before. And VAllejo has played move e6 here. If VAllejo is still in the books and this position is worked out with the computer, this can be very tricky thing to solve in over the board play. Even for somebody
He
like
pretends
Wesley.
he knows this, and he
So
very quickly plays queen d6.
So he pretends he knows it, and he played very quickly indeed queen d6, because
Okay, taking on e6 is...
taking on e6 is, I guess, is just a move. You get compensation, obviously, because this bishop
Can
is
never
now
come to the game.
a horrible piece.
Trust me, I have played this, and this bishop was here until the mate.
Are you playing Caro Kann as black? Yes? So you have some bad memories of this bishop.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
So you are agreeing then with Wesley that queen d6 is a clever move.
Yeah.
White's strategy looks to me a bit risky, because after e6, queen d6, it looks to me like, okay, white is willing to open up the position, but he is behind in development.
White?
Yes, because this bishop is already out. White did not develop any of his pieces.
But his pieces can be developed very fast.
Yes, but
look
how?
at the bishop on f8.
But how? If you take,
Now take on f7.
so okay, let's suppose I take by bishop, and I want to play next move e5. Or knight d7 and e5. Okay, VAllejo took indeed an
Is there
f7.
some checks on g3 very unpleasant for white?
Maybe. Okay, to begin with, I think he would take by bishop, because if to take by king does not look to me like making too much sense, because knight can go to h3 and to g5. Check, so he will take by bishop.
92 probably here to avoid queen g3 and also some bishop f4.
So 92, let's say, okay, develop knight, bishop f4, push pawn. Now if I take, knight takes. But then it will be a pin. So let's say take, knight takes.
Bishop g2.
Bishop g2. And now I probably need to unpin. But the question is how? Because on queen f6, maybe g5. Tempo. Perhaps queen e7. But okay, here maybe white is starting to get advantage in development. Maybe now some move like knight c3, and then he wants to move queen, castle queenside. Let's see, bishop took on f7. Let's see if VAllejo is going to play move 92, which is the most logical move. But we have actually, I like how the game started, because we have original position at the very early part of the game.
How come the VAllejo has less time on the...
This is a...
he's just walking and not thinking too much.
No, this is a very good question, because he was the one who was supposed to be surprising Wesley so in this line.
Yeah, this I thought.
Yeah.
Because I thought Wesley surprised him playing c6, but it turns out he's
well, after this move g4, I would be thinking that, okay, he should build some time advantage. But this is not actually happening, because Wesley has played those moves very fast. Almost as he expected such a variation. But 92 looks very logical. And I want bishop f4.
There is some jump on b4 with a check, but I don't know how strong it can be.
You want to eat this?
92.
You want to eat this pawn?
No, not really.
So check. This is such a move. This pressure. And rook goes to f1. Okay, threat is queen f3. Bishop e7. Bishop f4. Okay. Queen b4. Okay, he doesn't want to go down to d7 or d8 under some pins, so queen b4. And he threatens check. So queen d4 check is a threat. Knight needs to be developed, because
or from f3.
He does not have too many pieces, white, so I mean, he's material behind, so pieces which he has need to work. So knight f3, otherwise rook takes pawn could have been a problem. But now let's say knight e7.
e3.
Okay, queen b6. This looks to me like kind of position that white needs somehow to convince black that he has an attack. It is not a realistic one. I don't know. I think that maybe Paco should talk to him and tell him, listen, I have an initiative. Be careful. Now I really gonna mate you. Be careful. No, because I do not see it. I simply do not see it. I do not see threats. No, I think that it was inventive, it was brave, but I think it doesn't work.
He needs some trash talk, I think.
Yes.
So.
A3, he sacrificed pawn, which Wesley is not forced to take, but he did it.
He's grabbing everything.
He's taking everything.
Yes.
Okay. Rook h4, how many pawns? He has exchange and 3 pawns. Bishop c1, okay, trying to create some tactics. Rook f4. He gives an exchange back, and now pins. Well, 3 pawns up, and pieces are disappearing. Very hard situation for VAllejo. Bishop g5, queen g3, bishop h6. This pin is now not running away. Bishop d3. I'm wondering here, for example, can Wesley just castle?
With tempo.
With the tempo, and I want e5. Knight is also pinned, or I want queen c7. Okay, this is with, not queen c7, bishop a6, I don't need to blunder. But with the tempo, if rook goes away, maybe
knight b6 can
knight b6 can be played, or e5 can be played. e5, you take, d4, queen c3 is a threat. This looks completely winning. No, here it has gone really very wrong for VAllejo, and there are a number of moves here to win for black. So white has played really interesting game, has played very bravely, but I think that he has overstepped the limits, and now the position is lost. Okay, in Magnus' case, white is still thinking about his move. So now